Right, so here we've got a video featuring my collection of ThinkPads, which we will go into a bit more depth with throughout the video. And I apologise in advance because I already filmed the footage, and a lot of it's not in focus basically, but I haven't got time to redo them, so I'm just using autofocus. But yeah, there's a collection. There's my 4 ThinkPads, which we should be looking at further, and I've got docs for all of them. And yeah, we'll just look into that a bit more. But yeah, my apologies in advance for the spotty focus and the kind of low quality camera work. As you can see, I'm still learning how to use this camera, and I'm not really that comfortable being on camera in general, so that's why I'm back this way instead of out here. Yeah, so that's the video is going to be about my ThinkPad collection. So my first ThinkPad of my collection, of which there are many, is the X200, and I'll just show you the boot time while I'm talking. So it's currently only got 1 gig of RAM, but it can handle up to 4 gigs of RAM. It's a bit filthy as well, I apologise. And it's got the non-chiclet keyboard. It's got the original. Oh, shouldn't do that. It's got 1 gig of RAM, a Core 2 Duo clocked at, I believe, 2.2 gigahertz. And it's got a 32 gig hard drive. And I'll go over the ports in a minute, but I'll just show you the boot time first. It's running Windows 7 64-bit professional, and it's just, obviously, as you can probably see, labelled Davith X200. And it's a solid little device. I mainly use it just for like writing or doing scripting, or because I do various written things for my own entertainment. And as you can see, I've got the Lenovo background, which I've got that on all of them. But yeah, so that's the X220. Now we'll look at the ports a little bit. So on the front you've just got a catch here for unlocking the lid and a SD card reader. There we go. On this side we've got missing drive caddy, but there should be a, not caddy, the drive bay cover. We've got the, let's focus in a bit. No, that didn't help. There we go. We've got the 56K modem port, we've got a microphone, headphone, USB, and then the Kensington lock there. On the rear I've just got the normal 6-cell battery, I think that is, and there's not really much entertaining on there except the battery. And then we've got the power, motherboard fan, not motherboard fan, CPU fan, USB 2, VGA, 1 gigabit I think, or 10 or 100 Ethernet basically, USB, and then we've got the wireless kill switch. And it's also, I'll cover that up, I've got the docking port there. Not very much entertaining. It can actually take a memory, what are they called? SIM card there in that little port. That's where you pop your SIM card, and then it's got 3G wireless mobile broadband, so that's quite cool. And I've also got for it the docking station, the Ultra Base 2, I believe it is, which has just got the little, that just ejects the dock, that physically ejects it so you don't destroy your hard drive or whatever else in there. You've got the battery, extra battery compartment thing there. Got the power, 3 USBs, VGA, display port, microphone, headphone, and Ethernet. And then in the bay I've just got a DVD drive, an over DVD drive. But you can, I used to have a hard drive in there as well, and the USB port and the key lock. It's a solid little device, but it's not really much use for anything except general admin and word processing at the moment. Although, just over here I have an eGPU setup that works with this, and then it can actually handle some basic gaming. I mean, you can play like Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2 on it as it is, but it gets extremely hot. But with the eGPU, which I'll show you in a bit, it's actually not too bad for like retro gaming and stuff like that. So that's the X200 anyway. My next ThinkPads are two X230 series. So one, I'll just show you that this is the X230, which is the i5 variant, clocked in, I think it's 2.6 gigahertz will do the boot. 240 gig SSD, wireless WAN card, so you can do mobile broadband up to, I think it's 20 odd megabits per second. There we go, as you can see, very snappy with the SSD. I've got a Kingston SSD, I think, in there. And on top we've just got all your standard ThinkPad buttons, blah blah blah, but I'll go around the side and show you the ports. It's a nice little device. It's only got 4 gigs of RAM in it, and that i5, but obviously the identical for this one will be identical, so I'll just show you the ports on this one. So you got 2 USB 3.0, VGA, mini display port, wireless kill switch. On the back you just got the power, another vent, obviously there's a vent there as well, and then there's the 6-cell battery, and then powered USB, which is you can set in the BIOS so it's always on if you want to charge your phone from it or whatever. SD card, which doesn't read actually, that's broken unfortunately. Ethernet, and then there's the hard drive caddy and a combined microphone and headphone jack. This one doesn't have any lock on it. On the front we just got the standard ports, i5, decent battery life. I use it for busking and various other Ableton related behaviours. When I go out busking, I use it for run Ableton. I usually swap out the 4 gig for 8 gig from one of my other systems, but at the moment it's just got 4 gig in it because I haven't been doing any busking. So that's X230 number 1 with the i5. And I've also got this sort of mishmash device of an X230i, which I'll show you the boot time for. And obviously it's got all the same ports and everything. This one's got a fingerprint reader as well. So all the side ports are all exactly the same as the X230, but it's got an i3 CPU. As you can see, the boot time is very fast, but the SSD in it is actually an Msata SSD in the wireless WAN port, which is 64 gigs. And yeah, see, the boot time's quite good on the Msata, even though it's only SATA 2 instead of SATA 3. And then again, we've got drive case missing there. And this is a 500 gig hard drive, which just holds all the storage all the storage for the device. And then obviously, I didn't show you this on the other one, you've got the docking station port there. And I'll show you my docking station in just one sec. So here we have the Ultra Bay 3, or Ultra Dock 3 or Ultra Base 3, which has the similar disconnection port there, this flick switch to disengage it. It's got power, Ethernet, display port. I'm not sure what version of display port that is, but it is a full digital signal. VGA, microphone, headphone, 4 USBs, the lock to lock the device to lock your laptop to the dock, and then again the replaceable Ultra Bay DVD drive. And yeah, solid device, just drops in, Bob's your uncle. And obviously because I've got two X230s, it's quite handy having this. And yeah, there's also another device that I'll show you that fits with this, and I'll show you that next. So the next ThinkPad is an X220 tablet, so X220T, and it's my fiance's. As you can see, it's got a delightful picture of my gumpy face there. Oh, didn't mean to bash the camera. It's got fingerprint reader here, revolvable screen, it's got a digitizer pen, which is quite handy. It's got 2-point multi-touch so you can do your pinches and gestures and stuff, and it folds around into tablet mode, which is quite handy, and then you can change what position the screen is in with that button and various other functions. It's got the extended cell battery on it, the docking connector, it's got there's the hard drive bay digitizer pen holder there. You've got a combined audio jack, Ethernet, SD card, USB 2 power, permanent power on one, and then we've got a hardware switch. There's your express card port, which I haven't mentioned on any of the other ones, but all these ThinkPads have express card, which is how I connect them to the graphics dock. Let me just see if I've got that sufficiently focused. Sorry about that if it's been terrible otherwise. Full-size display port, USB, VGA, and another USB, and on the back we just got the charging port. So that's and the Kensington lock there, I forgot to mention that. So that's my partner's X220 tablet, which she was delighted that I introduced her to, because she loves it, because she's an artist and works on digital art and photo editing and things like that of her art. So yeah, groovy. On to the next laptop. So the final ThinkPad of my collection is the Lenovo ThinkPad T430S. I don't know whether you can quite see that. T430S, and it's got fingerprint reader. I'll do the boot for you. And it's got, this one is my newest toy. I've got my mum helped me buy it for Christmas, which I'm quite chuffed with. It's got all the standard ThinkPad top buttons. As you can probably see, it's dual booted Windows 10 and Ubuntu Studio. I'll just boot into Windows 10. And yeah, so it's got the fingerprint reader as well, so I'm just going to use that to log in. Nice trackpad. It's got two dedicated nice clicky buttons, which I'm really happy about. It's got obviously the track point and everything, but it's rocking an i7 2.9 gigahertz overclockable to 3.4, I believe. It's also got Msata 240 gig SSD, standard SATA 240 gig SSD, and then in this drive bay here, I'll show you that in a sec. In the drive bay we've got a 1 terabyte hard drive and 8 gigs of DDR3 RAM. Okay, so then we've got the docking port thingy there. We've got the battery. It's got space under the battery to put a SIM card in it, and I did actually have the wireless WAN card in there, but then I replaced it with the Msata 240 gig SSD, but I can swap them out quite easily because it's under this cover with the RAM. Then it's got removable, it's not very pretty, but it does the job, a 1 terabyte hard drive there, and then the hardware switch to turn off the Bluetooth and, hardware switch to turn off the Bluetooth and wireless. Then on the other side we've got, this is a removable, you have to undo a screw internally, but a removable SD card reader, which I use to connect it to my GPU, external GPU dock. It's got a combination headphone and microphone socket, USB 3, VGA, USB 2, Thunderbolt 1 I believe this is, but I think Thunderbolt 2 devices are backwards compatible, but it also works as just a standard display port, USB 3, Ethernet, power, and then yeah, that's my ThinkPad T430S. And I'll show you the dock and the graphics station, the graphics card dock, and then another docking station for this in just a second. Right, so we're going to have to go a bit freehand on this, sorry about the glaring light. So here we've got a little HD TV, mouse, keyboard, and I quite like this. I've got the, hold on, got the ThinkPad 2.4 gigahertz wireless mouse. Keep the little dongle just inside there, it's quite cool. But under here, the point of showing you this is the dock for the T430S, but it also works with both the X230s. You see it's just like a port replicator. So let me pull this out properly, and then we've got VGA, 4 USB. See if I can get in there with that. Display port. Oh, sorry, DVI, and various port replicators anyway. And then you just charge it on with that. And for the different ThinkPad sizes, so that's, you have it like that for the X230s, and then like that for the T430S. But the reason I'm showing you this is that I've also got this little bad boy hooked up, which is, I don't know if you can read that, an express card signal lane, which is basically attached to this. Get some light on this situation. To a graphics card, which is is contained within this basically empty PC case, which holds a graphics card, a power supply, and the EXP B stock, and that's about it. So, just to show you how this works. Sorry about the wobbly camera work as well and the weird lighting. I'm new to this process. I'm sure it will improve over time. So we take our T430S, dock that bad boy in here. Is it docked? Is it docked? We'll soon find out. Is it docked? No, it's not. There we go. Now it is docked. And then we remove, if you remember, the little SD card reader that pops out. You have to remove a screw internally under the motherboard to sort that out, and then we plug that in there, clicks in, then we turn on this monitor. I've also actually got via VGA, I've got this portrait monitor hooked up as well, and theoretically these should now burst into life when I press the button on the dock. Let's see if it's all going to plan. And obviously I've got this set up nice and discreetly. Okay, so the graphics dock's not working because I didn't actually turn the computer fully off, so let's just do that now. Full restart. I'll be back in a second. Right, so I've actually got it working this time. The EXP B stocks tend to be notoriously finicky when it comes to the exact pattern in which you order booting them up, but all I had to do is just turn it off and then turn it back on again fully rather than just a restart. But it works. Oh, it works. I'm not going to show you my password, so I'm just going to block the lens while I type my password. And there we've got top monitor running off VGA from the T430 dock, and then this screen here is running from the graphics card, which is housed in there. And it makes for a neat little productivity setup. If I just draw back a bit, it's got a nice little setup there, and next to it I keep all my music equipment because I use this primarily as a music setup. And there's my partner's desk area, and then obviously behind me is my main rig with the crazy triple monitors and whatever. So I just use this one for productivity and kind of just general admin, or like I might do a bit of music on there, music production, because I use Ableton because I'm a bass player by trade. And then obviously with that setup we've got over here, if we just pull this blanket down, we've got the Ableton push and a little USB keyboard and various things set up to be used with this set. So that's rough gist, that's my ThinkPad setup, and I can use 3 out of the 4, because I can't use the X200 on this setup, but I can use the X230, the X230i and the T430S all on this docking setup with the graphics card. Now in the graphics card dock I've got an NVIDIA Quadro 600, but I'm planning to upgrade that to a GTX 750 Ti when I get the new graphics card for my main desktop. So that's the overview of my 4 ThinkPads. Sorry again about sketchy camera work. We will improve production value over time. It's just a starter video to get me warmed up, to get the idea of like what it is I want to do. And yeah, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you like what you see. Even leave a dislike because it helps me out either way. So leave sassy comments if you want, talk about the production value, I don't mind, but if it's the sort of thing that interests you, feel free to subscribe and you'll see more. Cheers.